Hello and welcome, everyone. As we're continuing to let a few more people just go ahead and join in because we have everyone flowing in to today's call. Do me a favor as we're waiting, go ahead and drop your
Hello
name in
and
the chat and where you're chiming, where you're joining us in from, because I know we got a few people that are chiming in from, all the way from Switzerland, which is the middle of the night for them. We have people from Colombia, Medellin, Colombia on here. We just want to know where everyone's chiming in from. So go ahead and drop your name and where you're chiming in from the chat. All right, perfect. So, guys, we are going to get started today. And before we get started, I do want to let everyone know we are live here, not just on Zoom, but we are live on YouTube as well. So, we have people that are joining us from all around the world. And as I share with everyone, just let's get tuned in, tapped in, and turned on today because the information that is going to be shared with you, I can tell you that it's life-changing. It's been life-changing to me because for those of you that know me, you know that I've been speaking this word of staying in your abundance current. And if you don't know me, my name is Charisma Shackelford, and when I'm not passionate about health and wellness, I am passionate about teaching people how to elevate their digital wealth using via cryptocurrency. But what I've been saying for quite some time is you can't enjoy the wealth that you're creating if you don't have good health, which goes back to my mantra that you have to be in your abundance current if you really want to enjoy our short time that we have here on our journey here on planet Earth. So today I'm super excited because for quite some time, many people didn't know that I was quietly going on this wellness journey. And it was a wellness journey because I had been and did not realize that I was nutrient deficient from a young child. That led me to having PCOS while I was in college and had was pre-diabetic. I had taken metformin and other types of medication throughout my life just to keep myself in alignment because I didn't want to end up having my life being shortened before it was my time. Along that journey, I became so passionate about wanting to get healthy because on the outside, I was skinny. On the outside, I looked like I was healthy. I was an athlete. I was running track in high school, playing basketball, you name it. But on the inside, my body was crying. And it's been crying all these years. And throughout my journey, I have aligned myself with trying to get healed through some of the people that you may have heard about online, Dr. Sebi, Dr. Maria, you've named it. At some point during my journey, during my cryptocurrency journey early on, I had the blessing of having some wealth that came into my life, but it came in for a short period of time. And during that short period of time, I was able to pour nutraceuticals into my body. I was spending between 13 to $1,500 per month. It was working for me, but I couldn't share it with everyone else. I couldn't share it with the next person because they couldn't afford to put that type of money out into the world to heal themselves. In December of this past year on Christmas Eve, my sister passed away. And along that journey, her and I had been talking about healing herself naturally. And she could not afford the nutraceuticals. She couldn't afford the things that I had the blessing of putting into my body. But fast forward along that journey, I also lost that short term of crypto wealth, which was providing me the blessing of being able to provide those nutraceuticals for myself. So I went back into silently struggling with having inflammation in my body that was causing joint pain, that was causing me to have these fevers, low-grade fevers on a consistent basis, my digestive system slowing down, and then just trying to get the energy to want to work out. My business partner may be on this call. He knows that I've been trying to get myself back in order. And during this time, a good friend reached out to me because she had been on that journey within the crypto space with me. And she reached out and she shared with me some nutraceuticals and a company that was literally creating a movement all around the world, helping people to put the nutrients back into their bodies so that we can arm our bodies and allow our bodies to be stronger and healthier so that we can combat everyday chronic diseases that are taking our lives way too short. Not only did I lose my sister, who was only in her early 50s, but I lost my father when he was very young too. I'm tired of losing individuals. I'm tired of losing my friends. This past year, I've lost close to a dozen friends. During COVID, I lost more. All of this because of the lack of nutrients that is in our food and the inability to for our bodies to be healthy and strong to combat the illnesses that are plaguing everyone around the world. So I may be overly passionate today because today is a very important day because I have the blessing of having the Vice President of Product Development and Education from Vital Health, a new partnership that I decided to lock arms with. And not only myself, but all my friends and family, we're doing it together to gain control back of our lives. This young queen is on here today, and I realized when I first met her virtually that she was holding on to a wealth of knowledge. I plugged into her social media and realized that she had a heart to go and serve, and she was pouring out to people on a massive scale. She is also a mother of three, so she's busy, but she's pouring her time and her energy into everyone around the world so that she can elevate humankind. So, without further ado, I want to introduce to you my new friend and my new partner in business, Brooke Neves.
Well, that was beautiful. I'm so grateful that you shared all of that because it's extremely relatable with what's going on right now on the planet when it comes to health, talking about, what a lot of people should be talking more about. A lot of people are silently struggling. So thank you for sharing that to everybody, Charisma. How many people benefited from hearing that and realizing that, you know what, people wow, somebody can look healthy on the outside, but that doesn't mean that they're not struggling on the inside. So that's something that people they need to hear it. And it's important too, because drop a one in the chat if you have children. Anybody here? Anyone here parents? Who are parents here on this call? When there's one thing about when it comes to our own health, and then it's a whole other thing when we stop and really take a look at our children and look them in the eyes and realize that they're not set up for success. The current environment that our world is providing, and a grandma, that's right. So you're sitting there looking at your children or your grandchildren and you're realizing, wow, the environment that our world is currently facing between our food, our air, our water, the products that they're putting out that they allow us to put on our skin, the fabrics that are actually highly toxic to the human system. So we live in the most toxic environment that we ever have, and we're watching sickness if you're looking at it on a chart go up like you would want to see your crypto account go up, not the rate of sickness. And so my name is Brooke Nieves, and I am extremely passionate about wellness because from the age of 13 to 25, I was extremely unhealthy. And by the time I was in my mid 20s, I was working a ton. I was a wedding planner for 9 years, so I was doing 120 weddings a year. That's all I did. I toured for the wedding, I sold the wedding, and then I coordinated the wedding, and I did that nonstop. And, I put my health on the back burner. Anybody ever done that before? How many people here put their health on the back burner? And you're like, oh, I'll come back to you. I'll come back when I have more time or I have more resources or I have more blank. This isn't the right time. And the next thing you know, a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years, boom, 5, 10 years goes by and we're in this critical condition. And that's what happened to me. I was in my mid 20s and I was about to have a stroke. My doctor was like, okay, Brooke, he'd known me for, since I was a kid. So it's like, okay, we really got to do something about this. So I had hypertension and I was malnourished. And so I decided to change my life and do something about it. And finally prioritize my health. And I can tell you that the passion that comes from for my wellness now is simply because I experienced what it felt like to feel awful and then now what it feels like to feel incredible. And I want to pass that to everybody. And then now that I have children, I look at my children and I'm like, I cannot imagine not passing you the truth. I can't imagine allowing, because generationally, there's a lot of things that get passed down, the way that we eat, the way we move, the way we talk to ourselves. how we spend our time. Are we spending time in prayer and connection in the sunshine? Like these types of things get passed down. And so I realized that in order to make the greatest change, it has to start with me because our children do what we do, not what we say. So if we're doing the right things and we're doing the best things, the healthiest things, the happiest things, then our children will follow suit and we'll just continue to break those generational cycles of things that we don't want to pass down. Of course, there's a lot of things we do want to pass down that we love that run through the generations, but there's nothing's perfect. So let's just not pass down the things that we can make better. And so that is what I'm super passionate about. So I am here today because I have now partnered with Vital Health to support the education side of how to reconnect people back to a natural approach to their health. And so I'm going to share some slides with you, kind of give you an idea of what got going on here. There's multiple ways to approach working with us here at Vital Health. If you're here because you're like, I really want to elevate my health, I want to connect to a natural approach to my health. Awesome. We're also going to talk about ways to partnering with us to continue to share this mission and get this mission out there because the reality is whatever you believe in, I believe in. I believe that there's a God. I believe that God created this planet for us to tap into and to use the resources that naturally grow on this planet. That it's not a coincidence that different herbs and leaves and tinctures and roots have very specific functionalities when they enter the body. That's why Dr. Sebi, he played a huge role in mine and my husband's life because after he passed away, his wife still moves forward with some of his work. And so when my husband's mom was diagnosed with liver cancer, we were able to connect with her and kind of get some of the regimens and things that he used in his practices, and it saved my mother-in-law's life. And so that type of technology that our planet provides, that's not an accident, that's not a coincidence. There is a purpose for it. And in my opinion, that was the way that God always intended it to be. So I am excited to share with you what we've got going on here. So before I share my slides, I just want to let you know I'm talking about a company technically, but what I'm really talking about is a movement. And I want you to feel the energy of the movement because when you think about a movement, you're what can we create to be the change that we wish to see in the world? And so the change that we wish to see on this planet here as a company, Vital Health, is we wish to see people reconnecting back to a natural approach to their health. We wish people to be more financially stable. We wish that we pass on the right truth and education to our children. And we wish to see the trajectory of our health take a big turn and actually start coming towards wellness again. So let me share my screen. And so before I get into some of the details, I just want to tell you a tiny bit of the story about how we got started because it's a kind of sad story, but it's also a very empowering story because Dr. Tony Rodriguez, the formulator of our products, he's the gentleman right here in the center. His story of why we're actually all technically here is he was orphaned by the age of 16 years old. So he had lost both of his parents by the age of 16 due to preventable chronic conditions. So because that happened to him, he got older and he decided that he was going to take that pain and turn it into purpose and he wanted to change the lives of other people so they didn't have to experience what he experienced with his parents. And so that's what he did. He went and got educated in holistic wellness, the human body, and how to support people naturally with their wellness. And so 13 years ago, he started formulating products, natural products, and kind of like Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi was a medicine man from Honduras. So he is a medicine man from Mexico. He started formulating different things 13 years ago, opening up different clinics, helping people with their health and changing people's lives. Like stories that you hear that you're like, that's a miracle. It's not really, it seems like a miracle because when you compare it to the solutions that were offered in, kind of the Western space, compared to when you go the natural route. It's actually just what's miraculous truly is the human body. The human body and its ability to heal itself when you give it what it needs is actually the miracle. The body is the miracle. And so here at Vital Health, Tony wanted to move a mission that resembled that passed that information on that the human body was the miracle. And so we partnered with multiple other entrepreneurs, launched Vital Health in February 22nd, 2022. And we just opened up the United States here as well last June. So a little over a year ago, we just opened up Canada, we just opened up Colombia, and we're continuing to open up more countries. Is just quickly, actually rapidly, we're opening up more countries because this is meant to be a global movement because it's important that we start educating people on the truth about their wellness that people, whoop, sorry guys, that people are passing away right now not because of old age, but because of chronic conditions that are actually preventable through lifestyle changes. And so the two lifestyle changes that we like to talk about is one right now, people are experiencing the most inflammation they've ever had, and inflammation will trigger chronic conditions. Who here knew that? Anybody drop a two in the chat if you knew that inflammation turns on chronic illness, right? So you have to question, why are we the most inflamed we've ever been? Well, it's because of our environment, between the air, the water, the soil, everything I had mentioned in the beginning of this call, all of these toxins are foreign to the human body. So when the human body comes into contact with something that's foreign to it, it doesn't like it. And so its response to that is to turn on the immune cells, your little immune army, and your immune army is like attack, and it goes to try to defend your body, and then it goes into a chronic state of inflammation, meaning that it's in a chronic state of we need to protect ourselves. Okay. So if that kind of makes sense. So your body is constantly at war with the external environment, pretty much. And then at the same time, your body also isn't getting the nourishment that it needs. So while it's always in fight mode, it also is undernourished. And so you pair those two things together, and now you have just turned on chronic illness. And that's why we're seeing the stats in health like we are. Now, when Dr. Tony formulated our products, he did a couple of things. He blended nanotechnology, which is the maximum absorption of herbs when they enter the human body. He put adaptogens, herbs, roots, leaves, paired all of these together. Adaptogens are really cool because they're actually super smart herbs that adapt to the needs of your body. And then at Vital Health, we value the ability for everybody in the family to be able to afford health because to be honest, I mean, you guys know how it is. Health can be expensive. Like we have to pay more to buy organic meat, organic fruit, organic vegetables. We have to pay more to not be poisoned. Like that's the truth, right? And so here at Vital Health, the way that we structured our combinations of herbs is we made it to where it was affordable for the entire family. Now, our expert advisory board is a great group of practitioners that we work with that use our products in their practices so that we have a connection to the actual doctors and physicians themselves as we navigate our movement. Now, I'm going to show you an overview of our products, and I'm going to go into the products with you. Now, we focus on a system of detoxify, restore, nourish, and awaken. And I will break down each one of those. But before I do, I want to let you know that we are non-GMO. Our labs are inspected and registered by the FDA. We do not test on animals, of course. We are lab tested and we have our Salute and COFE Pre and our good manufacturing practice stamp. So we have everything that we need to ensure that your products that you're putting into your body are of highest quality, especially with this GMP. This is super important because this is making sure that anything foreign that should not be in a supplement, like pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, mold, any type of contaminants, metals, should not be entering your body. And that's what the GMP stamp tests for. Now, before I get into the actual products, I just need to have a moment to tell you our health disclosure statement. So we do not diagnose, treat, cure, prevent, or mitigate any disease. And if you want to make any changes to your current health regimen, then it is advised to speak with a trusted practitioner. Ding. All right. This is my favorite step. And the reason that I feel this way about our detoxification line is because you really can't figure out what's going on with your health until you address your detox pathways. So if anybody has funky energy. Their energy is not on point. Your sleep's not on point. Your weight management is, your weight loss journey is slower than you want it to be. Your digestion isn't on point. Whatever you're currently experiencing, whatever symptom you're experiencing, if we do not go and stabilize the liver, the kidneys, the colon, the detox pathways first, then we're really not going to know where the actual root of the problem is. And I mean, if we have the ability to fix something at the root or just start masking symptoms, which one do we want? Of course, we want to address the root. So we have to support the liver, which we do with Organix. The liver is in control of over 500 functions in the human body. Then we go and support the kidneys. That is going to be our Iterin. We have our detox tea, and this is actually going to normalize your bowels. This is something that, excuse me, this is something that has been normalized is not using the restroom regularly. I mean, people now think that, oh, if I use the restroom every other day or every, few days, that's normal. And I'm just here to tell you that if that is the current situation that you're in, we have to have a conversation because if we do not get those toxins out of your body same day, then you're threatening the vitality of your life. And we don't want to do that, right? We're here for a very short amount of time and we want to live it as abundantly and joyfully and healthily as possible. So we have to normalize our bowels. And then we have our glutation plus. This is going to detox you at a cellular level. This is going to support your mitochondria. This is going to detox you from things that you've encountered, like if you've been consuming processed foods, or if you have heavy metal in your body, or if you've had a lot of oxidative stress and you have too many free radicals in your body. I mean, this is one of my favorite products. I drink like a bottle of this a week. This is game changing. So if you haven't done a deep detox, you need it. If you have anything that I just told you about, if you've been under surgery, like anesthesia, if you fly on planes a lot, like if you've been exposed to mold, like these are all things that you want to get a lot of this in your body to cleanse you at a cellular level. Then we have our restore line. So the V control is supportive if you're on a weight management journey. This is going to balance out your satiety and is going to support your adrenals and your hormones. 40 Flora is going to balance the pH in your body as well as support your bowels. And it's got calcium, which is important for your bones. When I literally know that I'm aging, like I'm getting older because I actually care about my bone health. Like I didn't care about anybody cared about that in their 20s. I didn't care about that in my 20s. Now I'm getting closer to 40 and I'm like, I gotta make sure I have strong bones, right? That's how you know. That's how you know we're getting to that age. And then we've got Idolate. I call this our Zen Master because this is going to support your nervous system. So if you have a high demanding lifestyle, or if you just know that your cortisol is a little high, or if you would desire a better quality, deeper, more restful sleep, that's Idolate. Also, if you know anybody that's been experiencing anything neurodevelopmental, this will change their life. You need to get this in their hands ASAP. Then we've got Idle Boost. This is great for the immune system and respiratory health. We've got glutation. This is a more chilled out version of the glutation plus. So it's going to support you at a cellular level because of the glutathione, and it's also going to support a healthy inflammatory response and boost the immune system. Askelax, this is for your circulatory health and also your lymphatic system. This is great for hemorrhoids. This is great for varicose veins. This is game changing. I've got people who just rave about this for tension in their head as well. Then we have Idodol and Curcumax. These are two products. They're both like yellowy, like orangey. These two products are both similar in their ability to support a healthy inflammatory response. So that means discomfort in the body. And that discomfort can be anywhere, your wrists, your elbows, your back, your shoulders, your hips, wherever you're experiencing discomfort, this is going to support you in those areas. Now, the difference between the two is that Idodol is going to support your blood health. This is incredible for the viscosity of your blood, the iron in your blood, blood health, discomfort. Then you look at Curcumax, this is discomfort and gut health. Okay, so slight difference, similar, and then also slight difference. And then we've got S balance. Now I'm going to bring somebody up to share a little bit about their testimonial with the actually a couple of these products that I just listed. And I'm going to let you share his story, but it's absolutely incredible. This is a former Marine who gave his life and service to our country for many years, and honestly thought that he had hit a wall when it came to his health, and he felt defeated. And when he started experiencing our products, his entire life was changed. So I'm excited for him to share his story. I'm gonna pop off here really quick and let me find him in the chat. And okay, you're unmuted already, Mr. Andrew Chapa. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Can y'all hear me okay?
We can. Yay!
Right. Hey, everybody. First of all, Charisma, thank you for allowing me to come on and share my story. Guys, as Miss Brooke Nevis said, I'm a former Marine and was always healthy. I was always healthy. I was the guy that always set the new records at our base. I did competitive bodybuilding. I've been working out for 45 years, so I've always been in shape. But like Charisma said, and the contaminants, we don't realize what we're exposed to. And I was exposed to water contamination at Camp Lejeune, not knowing that at the time, but fast forward 35 years later or 30 years later, and things start happening. When you're eating great or think you're eating great, and things happen, your body is not working the way it should, and that's exactly what Ms. Brooks said. Fast forward 2019, body was really not working good. I've had physical injuries in the core, but I've always managed to do okay. But when you have inflammation and things aren't working anymore the way it should, I had a stroke in 2019. Didn't know really why because I've always been in good shape. After that, was put on about 8 meds, all kinds of meds for blood pressure issues, heart issues, just name it. I was on all kinds of stuff. And then fast forward again to 2023, going into doing my checkups I do at the VA, and again eating as well as I can, and again we don't really understand where the food know where food comes from anymore, but I was doing my best and was actually had some sugar level issues rise up. And so, if you're familiar with sugar level issues, the doc said, "Hey, your your fasting numbers are 200. We're going to put you on." Charisma talked about a while ago, metformin, and I didn't want to do that. I was already on 8 meds, guys. I didn't want. Who needs another one, right? And so I got on another one at the end of 2023, and then fast forward to 2024. A good friend of mine, and you know Miss Brooke and her husband David, I've known for a long, long time. I had heard he's doing something holistic, and I remember reaching out to them in the March, got together in April, sat down, and actually did a scan and confirmed what I already knew, and all the things that were going wrong. And so sat with Mr. David and Miss Brooke and got on the detox line, and my products came in at about the last of April, 1st of May. And so remember, I told you my blood sugar levels were 200 fasting every morning. And so 2 weeks in, again, no medical claims, just my story, just so you know, this is what happened for me, my experience. 2 weeks in, my numbers dropped from 200 every morning to what, about 140. Yeah, about 140. I thought that this is cool. So fast forward 2 more weeks. It was Memorial Day weekend. I'll never forget. And those of you who heard the story, you already know. I sent a picture to David and Brooke Memorial Day weekend. My numbers were back in the low 90s, or actually high 90s, low 100s. Back to normal. What? I'm like, what? Something's going on here. So I keep on going in. Now, with that, I had my VA appointment and got some blood work back and officially knew a diagnosis of what all that water contamination caused some blood issue levels. I was diagnosed with a form of leukemia that affects the by production of red blood cells, which I already had been knowing that, just didn't have the diagnosis. And so what that means, if you're familiar with blood thickness, hemoglobin is a number we all have. So the number for a normal man my age should be about 13. Well, mine was 18, 19. It's been 18, 19 for the last almost 25 years. So my regimen for the last 25 years has actually been going to the doctor, or not the doctor, but to go donate blood as a subscription to help thin out my blood. It wasn't a solution. It was just a way to a band-aid, if you will. Now, once I knew that diagnosis, I met with David and the team. Back then, we actually were able to get a regimen. So basically, got on a regimen to help with my blood thickness. Fast forward into November last year, so November 24, giving blood every 60 days, and you go test, and they always take the test the thick, excuse my tongue, test the thickness of your blood. My thickness was 18, 19. In November, it dropped back down to about 13, 14. It varied depending on what I gave. So My last time I gave, I was back 13. So that's back to normal. Now, again, I didn't change anything, but I added Vital Health in my regimen. Now, with that being said, if the thickness of the blood is not as bad, then I've also remember I was on 8 meds, so some of those meds were blood pressure meds. So what I experienced was my blood pressure was actually too low on meds. Now, just to give you a reference, before any meds, my blood pressure had jumped after my stroke from to about 175 over 90, which is not good. So these meds were working. But what I found was my I was getting dizzy spells and pulled myself off and actually weaned myself off the blood pressure meds. And so I met with a VA doctor a couple weeks ago, and we're going over my blood work, and she's looking at my blood work, and A1C is good, cholesterol is good, hemoglobin's back to normal, blood pressure is great. She's like, "Hey, Chopper, we're gonna renew your scripts." And I'm smiling because I haven't been taking my scripts. And so she looks at the computer and she checks back. She's like, Choppa, you have not refilled your prescription in over 6 months. I'm like, no, ma'am, I have not. She said, what are you doing? So I told her. I told the regiment that I'm doing it with a holistic herb and adaptogen regiment. And she's like, whatever you're doing, keep doing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my story, and it's just so cool. God is so good. I walked out of there with no more scripts. 9 scripts. 9 scripts she took off, scratched out. Well, you don't need them. You're good. We'll see you in 6 months. And so I'm so thankful that David and Brooke have discovered and aligned with Dr. Tony because it's been a game changer. So back to you. Thank you for letting me share.
Oh my gosh. Makes me emotional every time. You guys drop some love in the chat for Mr. Andrew Chapa. Put some fives in the chat for him. You guys, tell me, okay, so if that's somebody in your family, let's say that's your favorite uncle or your grandpa or your brother or somebody in your family that was experiencing those issues or your son that was experiencing those issues and they were able to support themselves naturally and they came back and told you and said, hey, guess what? I went to my VA doctor and I don't even have to take prescriptions anymore because my body has healed itself just by me giving it things that naturally grow on this planet. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mr. Chapa. Absolutely incredible. I love that story. And just to let you guys know that that is actually normal for the people that we work with, like people being able to restore their bodies. I mean, Andrew Chapa and thousands of other people have been able to restore the health of their bodies. And so I'm really glad that you guys got to hear from him today so you understand what's truly possible when you give the body what it needs. So somebody had asked in the chat also, they had asked about the products that Andrew Chapa was taking. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew Chapa, you can throw it in the chat, but I believe he was taking pretty much all of our products. I think there's a couple maybe that he doesn't take, but what I want you guys to think about when you're looking at our line of products is, for your car, think, and I like having an analogy of a car, so it helps you to understand. If you want to have a car that lasts a really long time and doesn't break down on you and cause you any issues, you are not going to be able to ride that car around just by changing the tires. Like that's not gonna work, right? Because the car is a set of systems. There's tires, there's wires, there's brakes, there's rotors, there's a battery, there's an engine, there's so many pieces that make the part capable to actually get you from A to B efficiently. And that's your human body as well. So if you take a look at our products, they're supporting different systems in the body. So depending on how many systems in your body that have not been supported and have gone offline that need to get turned back online means that you might have to be taking multiple different things that are supporting those different systems. So we can start turning all those systems back online and getting all of them communicating healthy, happily together. Okay. So if that I just like to paint that picture so you kind of understand when you're looking at our products. These are all there to support the systems of the body and they have a unique role. So when you take a look at our Nourish line, the role here is to nourish. So we've got our Vital Pro. This is a protein collagen blend. So this has superfoods, omegas, functional mushrooms, plus you get that boost of protein, which most people are a little deficient in because like, it's hard to get the amount of protein you need in a day. So that's our Vital Pro. Then we've got our Vitalash collagen. This is incredible because it is great for the hair, skin, nails, but it's also great for your gut and your mobility. So this is the most impressive collagen I've ever seen on the market. So if you are a collagen connoisseur, or if you've been wanting to get into collagen because you've heard like you're supposed to take collagen, you have to give this collagen a shot. It's incredible in what it is capable of. Then we've got our V Daily. This is 5 products in one. This is a multivitamin, a multi-mineral, a probiotic prebiotic blend, a greens blend, like a whole foods powder, and it's an amino. Literally 5 completely separate products that you would usually buy, all all separate, all in one. And it tastes amazing. Okay, so this is, and we named it daily specifically because you need to be taking it every single day. This is also great for children. So if you want to make sure your kids' gut health, hydration, vitamins, the building blocks to their body, which is aminos, if you want to make sure that and they're getting their nourishment, you want to make sure that that's happening inside of their body simply because sometimes kids give us some kickback on what they're willing to take. They'll love this and it's covering all 5 bases. Then we've got our omegas. This is critical for the development of your children's brains. This is also important for your brain. You know, if we do not want to have memory issues as we age, we have to have omega 3s in our body. So this is great for our brain, for our heart, for our blood, for our hormones, for our mood, everything. This is nourishing to the entire system of your body and your children's body. And then we have our Awaken line. So we got 3 functional coffees. They all do different things. We've got a Thermo Cafe. This is going to fire up your metabolism and support you on a weight management journey. Neuro Cafe is going to support your concentration, your memory, your focus with a mushroom called Ganoderma. And we've got Love Cafe. This is great for your mood, your libido, and your hormones. And this is not just when I say hormones, I'm not just talking about women's hormones. I'm talking about males' hormones as well. Men, your testosterone is critical to your drive, your motivation, your vitality for life as well. So, men and women, this is going to balance your hormones naturally. And then we've got our V Energy. This is a healthy energy drink. So if you're somebody that loves that fiery feeling of caffeine because you love energy drinks, great. Give this drink a shot because it's healthy. It gives you the caffeine boost you're looking for, but you also have antioxidants, and antioxidants are critical to the body. If you look at our products, you'll see that we've weaved them in all over the place. You know, we put them in our glutation, we put them in our collagen, we put them in our V energy. We do that because antioxidants fight oxidative stress, which reduces your free radicals. And studies have shown that there's a specific disease on this planet that all of us don't like that has affected our families. Pretty much every single one of us, our families have been affected by this specific disease. And guess one of the things that all that disease has in common is that there's too many free radicals in the system. So we want antioxidants in our body to fight those free radicals. And then out of all of these products in our Awaken line, we've got the coffees and the V Energy, which are caffeinated, but our Nitro is not. And you're actually getting powered through energy because of the oxygenation of the precursor of nitric oxide that is in this little tincture. So this is going to support your body in producing its own oxide. It's going to oxygenate the cells in your body. It's like, you know, I give the example of it's why do they put oxygen in the casinos? It's because they want you awake, they want you alert, and they want you to have a lot of energy. That is the capability of oxygenating your cells through nitric oxide. This is also going to boost your nutrient absorption, which is really important because we're already deficient, so we want as much of it as we can get. Then we've got our bioelectric quantum analyzer. This is absolutely amazing because what it's going to do is it's going to give you a tailored report in 2 minutes. You're going to put your finger in. It's going to give you a tailored health scan where you're going to have personalized insights to what does your blood viscosity look like? How much fat is on your liver? How much uric acid is in your body? Are you low in some vitamins? Do you have too many metal in your system? I mean, the indicators of what it tests are critical in kind of identifying, hey, if I have too much fat on my liver, what that can turn into. Hey, if I'm deficient in this specific vitamin or this specific amino, what that can turn into. So it's important that you have the education and the information about your health because knowledge is power, especially when you're willing to do something about it. So if you know somebody with this scanner, get scanned as soon as possible and get these insights. I have people I've been working with for the last 16 months where I've done their scans their first month, a month later, 6 months later, a year later, and watched their scans progress. And it's amazing. It's amazing to see. Now, before I go into the next section of our presentation, I just want to let you know that we're leaving the section where we talk about products only, and I'm actually going to transition over into the side where we talk about how you can align with this mission. So if you saw what we just talked about and you're like, wow, I want to create that type of change in my community, or I want to create that type of change in my family. And I'm also open to the idea of partnering with a company to move that mission along. That's what I'm going to talk about on this next section. So I'm excited that you got to hear how we're moving this mission forward. And now I'm going to share with you what's in it for you when you partner with us to continue to move this mission along. Now, deciding to put something else on your plate is a decision that every, family has to make. And when it came to David and I deciding that we wanted to add this into our portfolio, because that's how we look at it. We look at everybody has dreams and goals, right? Everybody has a vision for their future. How many people here, their goals and their future require resources? I know ours do. And so when we looked at our future and what we want to do, we want to create a healing center and a homestead and that requires a lot of resources. And so we were like, we can continue doing what we're doing, or we can add something into our portfolio and get there faster. And so there's multiple ways to add things into your portfolio to take you to your goals and dreams. And this is the quadrant of 4 different ways that you can do it. You can be an employee, self-employed business owner, and investor. There's nothing wrong with being an employee or being self-employed. You just have to understand that being in that section, you're always going to be capped because you always will be trading your time for money and you only have so much time in a day. So there's no way to leverage being an employee or being self-employed. But you do have the ability to leverage being a business owner and being an investor. So when you look at being a business owner, that's what we offer here at Vital Health. We have the ability to offer you a system that you're not trading your time for money. You're actually tapping into the system, using the system, and you can actually create income, add to your portfolio if you're traveling or you're on maternity leave or you're sick or you're doing work in Africa or whatever it is that you're doing, your system is still building in the background. And here at Vital Health, we have multiple ways to tap into our system to add to your portfolio. So if you want to tap into the ability of being an online marketer, retail influencer, affiliate, or network marketing, they're different in their own ways, but we have the ability to support you in any one that you tap into. So retail, if you want to literally work hand in hand with people, if you're a med spa owner, chiropractor, doctor. We work with all different types of practitioners. Or if you want to do scan parties, we call them sip and scan parties, where you're using your scanner, you're giving people tailored information and they're walking out with product because they want a solution to their health because they're tired of hitting dead ends. Or you want to be an influencer, or if you want to focus on affiliate. Now, influencer doesn't mean that you have 10 million followers or anything like that. An influencer just means that you have the ability to go share a link of your own that goes to your personalized website. People can go to it and they can purchase product. Whether it's one person, 10 people, 100 people, 5,000 people, it doesn't matter. Influence is influence, whether it's one person or a bajillion. Okay. So that is an option for you. And then we also have the ability to do network marketing, and that's the ability to grow distribution points globally wherever we're at. And the first recorded billionaire said that he would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of his own because he understands the power of leverage income. And that is the power of number 5 of network marketing. Now, business has changed. The largest transportation company doesn't even own a car anymore. It's Uber. The largest video retail company doesn't even own, distribution points anymore. It's Netflix. So if you look at the bottom, you'll see how things have transitioned. And so business has changed. A lot of it has moved online. And so being able to create an income source online where you can work from your phone anywhere in the world is, I'm not gonna lie, it's a huge win. Now our stages of growth, this is important because with real estate, it's all about location. But with business, it's all about timing. And so we're in a position right now where we're between formulation and concentration. We have not hit momentum, which you wouldn't, being near the momentum phase is cool. You don't want to miss the wave of momentum, and you definitely don't want to position yourself helping a company to stabilize. So being before you've even hit that wave of momentum where we can build roots, we can stabilize our centers of distribution, and then ride that wave of momentum in where you're actually taking part in the share of how that company grows. Like right now we did 8.4 million last month. Okay. There will be a time soon that we're doing 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 million a month. Now, the question is, do you want to be there before that growth takes place? Or do you want to be there after that growth has taken place? Because our current numbers are we did a million our first year, 4 million our second year, 40, almost 2 million our third year, and then we just are about to hit over 100 million this year. Our loyalty bonus. Now, I'm going to run through this with you. I don't want to go super deep in detail, because the reality is, if you're really excited about this and this, you see this and this gets you excited, we can always talk more numbers. So I will not be reading and going into detail of each one, but you do need to know kind of a little gist about each section. So for the loyalty bonus, this is going to be when you're ordering your product every single month, you're going to actually get a kickback in a percentage that's going to go into an account that you can purchase product later that with those points that you have accumulated. Then we've got our influencer bonus. Now, this is very unique in the market and its ability to give you the highest kickback of commission that I have ever seen. Now, the way that this is going to pretty much boil down to, because like I said, I don't want to get into too much math. This is going to break you down to about 56.5% of the sales that you have. So if you are selling $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, 56% of that is going to get kicked back to you just by you going out there, changing the world, solving problems. Because really, with business, you know how when you have a really good business, you have a great solution to a really big problem. Would you guys agree that we have a huge problem on this planet right now when it comes to the health of our not even just adults, children? One out of every three child right now is dealing with a chronic condition. And it's growing. So we have a problem to solve. Now, if you're sending out a link, you're educating, you're sharing, you're changing people's lives, you're sending out a link and people are ordering from your personalized website that we provide, and you're getting a kickback of 56%, drop a 6 in the 7, drop a 7 in the chat if you think that that's a great deal. That's an amazing deal. I've never seen a kickback like that ever. Now, there's two ways to use this. You can use this as the influencer affiliate, or you can also use this as a retailer. So if you're doing it on the retail side, I just explained it on the digital influencer affiliate side, but if you're doing it on the retail side, this is what it would look like. You're buying your product for $27.50. You can retail it for all the way up to $56. Great, that's a $28.50 profit. But when you've hit this bonus, which is every other 200 points, and I can explain that in math later, but every other 200 points, your next 200 points, you're getting that product for $5.50. And you can still go retail it for up to $56. That's incredible. It's a $50.50 kickback for you just for tapping into that influencer bonus. And this is a bonus that is accessible forever and ever and ever. A lot of times companies will have bonuses like this available for like your first month or your first purchase. No, no, no. This is forever and always. Then we've got our first order bonus. This is going to give you a kickback when you are bringing in your business partners, because if you love the idea of leveraged income, guess what? You build your team with your business partners, you get a kickback anywhere from $33 to $270. We also have a presenter bonus. This is when you are presenting for somebody that is not within your organization. You're going to get a kickback for your time. Rising star bonus. is you're growing your business and you're bringing in customers because I love growing with customers because customers are where we really change lives. You know, we're more people on our products, the more health transformations that people are experiencing, the more transformational your check is about to look. And that's really cool. So this is about focusing on growing your customer base and getting a stronger percentage and a bonus for building a stronger customer base. Now we have a binary bonus. This is going to reflect the new business partners coming into your organization. So again, if you want to leverage your time and you want to open up multiple distribution points, you're going to set up distribution points wherever you set them up. But the people that you set up in that distribution point, they also see the value of leveraged income and they want to set up distribution points. So as your distribution points continue to evolve and grow, new business partners New business partners are going to be coming in. I'm Italian, so I talk with my hands. So, new business partners are going to be coming in. And as they're coming in, your business is going to grow. At the end of the week, the back office is going to tally up the growth of your new business partners that came in, and it's going to pay you a percentage on those new business partners. Now, this is going to cap out at $25,000 a week. Okay. Now, the next one that's not capped is our matching bonus. And what's cool about this is if you're a strong business developer, like you're like, I want 100 distribution points on this planet. I want 500 distribution points. You're going to check match 50% off of every distribution point you set up, which is again the most this is the most aggressive comp plan honestly that I've ever seen, which is why I'm here. Next, we've got our luxury car bonus. This is cool because when you hit the rank of gold, you're going to get a $500 car bonus to go towards a vehicle. Also, this is supportive if you're like, oh, I don't want the car bonus, but I want a lot of product. You get $830 in product if you choose not to take the car bonus. Then we've got our average incomes. These are just milestones in your business. You know, if you're looking at bronze, that's 1,000 group volume. So that's not just you, that's you and your entire organization. If you look at triple diamond, that's 200,000 in group volume of you and your entire organization and everything in between. So that's ranging from $220 all the way up to $38,000 for the average incomes of these. And I'll if you've never touched numbers like this in incomes, it can be kind of like weird to imagine making that much. Some people on this call, I know that they've made that and more, but there might be some people on this call that have never made 10, 15, 20, 30, $50,000 in a month. And I remember years ago when I got out of wedding planning, I remember because when you guys, I eventually left wedding planning. I never told you the rest of the story, but I left wedding planning, moved to Asia, quit my career, and I was like, I'm done. I got to get out of here. I was burnt out. I was exhausted. I just wanted to get as far away from home as possible. Moved to Asia, backpacked for a while, lived in Bali, loved it. And from then I became psychologically unemployable. I mean, at that, I've now been an entrepreneur for 7 years and never have gone back to an actual job because I just leveraged entrepreneurship and I loved it. But I remember at first the thought of making $10,000 a month, I was like, oh my gosh, it would be so cool if I could just make 10,000 because I'd always been capped at like 6 or 8. And so when I made 10 and then surpassed that and surpassed it and surpassed it, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know people made this. I didn't even know this was possible. So my point in telling you that is the mind will try to limit you because the mind loves to keep you in your comfort zone because it looks at anything outside of the comfort zone is dangerous because then there might be failure and people might see you and you might make mistakes or you might not hit the goal in the time that you expected or whatever the mind limits you, right? But I just want you to remember whatever goal you have for yourself, really stop and think about it and be like, man, what would be a really awesome number of income for me to make a month? And then what could I do with that money? Who could I help? Could I help my family? Could I build the house of my dreams? Could I move somewhere different? Could I, buy a different car? Like whatever it looks like. And then add a little bit more to that number. Because remember, your mind's going to cap you. So pick a number, and then add a little bit more to it and then start dreaming and visualizing what you're going to do with that money and do that every single day. And it'll change your life. It will absolutely change your life. Me and my husband, there's multiple other ranks above this. There's a red diamond position, there's a purple diamond position, there's a black diamond position. Me and my husband are purple diamonds, so we're right underneath the black diamond position in this company. And we've been here for 16 months, and I honestly attribute the ability to be at that position solely the fact that one, we have a really incredible group of humans that we work with, and our products are amazing. Like our products literally change the trajectory of people's lives. So not only do we get to make good money, but we get to change the world. We get to help people. And that's honestly the best part. And then we have trips that we go on, which are great. So I do that a lot. Sorry, guys. If you like to travel, we're about to go to Puerto Vallarta, which is in Mexico. We've gone to California, Vegas, Mexico again. So we love to travel. That's one of the great things about partnering with Vital Health is the ability to earn incentive trips. Now, chatting about customer affiliate, if you love the idea of reconnecting back to a natural approach to your health, or you know somebody whose lives would be changed if they were able to stabilize their blood sugar or their blood pressure, or it boost their sleep quality or balance their hormones or gut health, great. You like the idea of coming to us and working with us as a customer, awesome. If you like the ability of working with us as a business partner and an affiliate, we can talk to you about specifically the best way to approach building your business, because you might want to tap into retailing. You might want to be more on the networking side. You might be more into the affiliate side. Whatever way best works with how you flow in your current network and your current lifestyle, we will strategize the best way to build your business with you. And when you start your business here with us, you get a membership. You get a $29 a year membership that's going to take care of your back office, your rewards plan, everything that has to do with shipping. I mean, you don't have to take care of anything. You send out a link and the Vital Health takes care of everything else. And then we have different packages. So we have the ability for you to purchase our largest pack, which is our Elite Pack. This is my favorite pack for multiple reasons. One, because you get a ton of product. So you have the ability to have product for you, for your family, and then if you want to share it with anyone, if you want to call someone up like we did Andrew Chapa and say, hey, I know that you've been dealing with something specific for your health. I got something that might help. Do you want to give it a shot? And get product into people's hands and start creating stories and changing people's lives. So I love this pack because you get a ton of product and you have enough to do that. This is also incredible because it's going to put you into a pool where the company is giving 1% of the yearly sales distributed to 1,000 people. So that is possible with this Elite Pack because now you've just taken up one of those founders positions. Then we've got our starter packs. We've got a basic, a builder, and a pro. They all have a different blend of products that come into it, and it just really depends on which one's best for you. I will let you know right now, we just started offering customized packs. So if you look at what we've got and you're like, ooh, I really want more of this one or more of that one, as far as a product, you can actually go in and customize a specific pack to the products that you liked the best, which I'm so excited that we did that. It's really exciting. And you guys, that is the full presentation that I have for what we've got going on here at Vital Health. So, before we head out today and I pass it back over to Charisma, I just want to, one of the conversations I had with my first mentor is, you know, casting vision of what our future can look like when we just do something different. Whether it's to our health, whether it's to our finances, we just do something different because when I was not the happiest, healthiest version of myself, I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, what you're doing isn't working. And I had to have that honest conversation with myself. And that changed everything for me. When I was actually willing to admit that what I was doing wasn't getting me where I really actually truly wanted to be, it changed everything. And so, if you take a look at your life and you're like, you know what, I'm happy or things are good or maybe things aren't good. but you're like, there's more. There's more that I can do. There's more potential to be reached. There's a healthier me that's available. There's dreams and goals I can get to faster. Whatever that looks like for you, I just want you to know that we have the systems, we have the support, we have the product line. We have everything here to support you to become a healthier, happier, even more financially secure version of you. So if that's something you're excited about and you loved what you heard today, get back to Charisma or anyone that invited you on here, and we are happy to just talk, just have a conversation, hear about your life, hear about your current, life situation, and brainstorm with you if this might be in alignment with where you want to go. So thank you so much for having me, Charisma. Thank you so much for Andrew Chapa. This was beautiful. This was amazing.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. And before we head out, or before I'm going to have the opportunity, if you have a question, you can use the ability to raise your hand, and we will call on you. But as we're doing that, there is one more short testimony that I would love to get up here because this is someone that actually, when you takes one person to create change. And it was me making a decision to not only take the products for myself so that I can change my body and heal myself so that my army in there could go to work and combat the things that I was suffering with. But I decided that I was going to share this with my friends, my family, and open it up to my network. One of my best friends is on here. We've been best friends for over a decade. He's living out in Medellin, Colombia, and he shared this with his father. So, Andre Sr., if you are on this call, I believe I saw you on the chat. And if you're still here, please turn your video on and turn your mic on. And I would love for you to share with us your testimony, please. Andre
Hey,
Jr.
yes, yeah, yeah. My auntie Vicky's gonna have to unmute it. Hey, auntie. Yeah, yeah. Just press the. There we go.
I
There
got
we
it.
are.
Okay, can y'all hear
Take
me?
the stage.
Yes, if you want to,
Hello.
I'm going to now add you to replace the spotlight. There we go.
All right. So, hi everybody.
Hello.
Um, I'm Andre Senior. Andre Junior is my son. They're in Medellin, and I have been experiencing health issues for the last about maybe 11 years. I found out I had sugar diabetes, and so I went through the metformin. And the metformin, it seems as though it was just like a band-aid. It wasn't addressing my issues. And my primary doctor was a little upset with me because she feels that I want to take insulin. I did not want to take insulin. I wanted to stop taking metformin because I felt like it wasn't working. And so I was at like 280, 300 a day. And about that's what my sugar diabetes was. And about 9 days ago, my primary doctor was upset because she says that if it don't change, that she's got to put me on insulin. Well, she gave me a Jardanian or another medication for my sugar diabetes, and it worked. It got it down to 145, but I was still real sleepy and real drowsy. And Andre sent me one of the products, and I took 2 capsules every day. And I couldn't believe it the first day because I have not been under 300 probably in about maybe a year and a half. And I was really getting worried. And the first day I was at 136. I said, okay, that's not realistic. So the second day I was at 131. So then I know I messed up the third day because I ate a lot of stuff really good, had a lot of energy. I said, wow, no, I messed up. Because usually when I mess up, it jumps up to 250 or 300 when I eat. And it got up to 192. And I had the nerve to be upset. I said, hey, this is supposed to be what there, but I realized that I wasn't supposed to be eating what I was eating. So in the last 8 days, my sugar has averaged about 141, 142 versus 300 and 280. And I had to tell somebody, I could not believe it. the energy that I have uh, is like somebody gave me a shot of energy. And so it's very interesting to me. I had pancreatic cancer about when I was 65, about 4 years ago. My dad died at 48 of that. And I thought I was going to be gone. And this gentleman, Dr. Stan, is actually on the call, saved my life because he also was dealing with some herbs, holistic medicine, Dr. Sabi. And so then I went through COVID and lost like 92 pounds. And once again, um, taking herbs, I was able to come back and fight back. But uh, I've never seen nothing happen this fast in the last 8, 9 days. Whereas I have a lot of energy, like my sugar is down. So also I have high blood pressure, and my blood pressure is normal. So I told Andre I have to say something, and he said, "Well, come on." And Corey said, "Come on," because I'm not going to waste nobody's time and say, "Okay, well, you just do that, and maybe I can make some money." Well, it's not about with me. It's about my health, and I'm at that age. I got to, I have multiple sclerosis and sugar diabetes, and I have to be very conscious of what I put in my body. So I really appreciate my son contacted me and said, "Dad, you got to check this out. You got," and then because he was telling me about Corey and said that she had sugar diabetes and was having issues, and she took it in the capsules, and she doing very well. I said, "Nah." I said, "I've heard it all." I say, "Okay, yeah, yeah." But now I am from St. Louis, Missouri, but even though I live in Las Vegas, I'm visiting my sisters. And I must tell you that I feel like a new surge of life. It makes you want to work out even more. It makes you, look forward to the next day because I'm not drowsy. I'm not, you know, uh, foggy. It's working for me right now. I know it's only been about 8 or 9 days, but it's working. And that's what I have to say.
That is amazing. And guys, that's a testament. So I too will just chime in on that is that one of the amazing thing that I noticed too, because I had taken nutraceuticals in the past, was how quickly they work.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, which is why I absolutely love your testimonial because these things are getting into people's hands and they're feeling the effects early on. And for you and people that are documenting this
Mhm.
with their blood sugar levels, it's just game changing. Yes, Brooks and Brooke wrote it at the same time, game changing, guys. So I thought I saw some other hands that went up because I saw people that had some questions. We are live on YouTube, and I did have one that came up. There's someone that's saying that they are diabetic and they have Ozempic. Can we share exact or they take Ozempic? Can you share with them what they should take to be able to come off of this?
I have an actual guide that I created specifically for people on Ozempic because the reality is Ozempic is actually it actually is pretty dangerous for the body. I hate to say that because a lot of people that conversation hasn't happened from a lot of the doctors. They say that it's completely safe, but that what they're finding in people that have used Ozempic is the weight loss is helpful, but at the same time it's also costing you your gut health, it's costing you your bone density, it's costing you a huge amount of stress on your liver and your kidneys. And so I tell people, look, if that's where you're at and that's the route that you've gone down, let's at least start restoring those systems of the body that have been affected by this. And that's why the natural route, if we can go that route, and I totally, just to validate, I totally understand when people have hit a place of defeat or a wall in their health and they're like, I don't know where else to go or where else to turn. And somebody saying, hey, this is going to be the solution, and you don't know another way then and you decide to take that route, I totally understand it. No shame, no judgment. But the reality is what we do need to know is just the education behind what these chemicals that are foreign to our body, what they do to our body long term. We have to know that. We can't negate that part. So if Ozempic is something someone's going to be on, I have a little guide that I put together that Charisma, you can feel free to share with anyone, but we need to restore the gut, support the kidneys, support the liver, balance out the pH of the body, restore all the nutrition because it starts affecting your
Okay.
body's ability to absorb nutrients. And so there's a few products that you want to take to support those systems. So if anybody's interested in that guide, give Charisma a message or whoever invited you, and I'll send you, it's like a little 6-page guide explaining what systems are affected, how they're affected, and then what you can do, what products you can take to help you.
I would like to comment if I could.
Yeah.
Um, Ozempic, I was actually on a trial. You know how the clinics, they pay X amount of dollars, to try this medicine or whatever. And they had something just like Ozempic. And what was happening to me, actually, I gained weight, and which I needed to gain the weight. I gained about 8 pounds, but I started having problems with my vision, and which was shocking, and I said, because I drive Uber sometimes, and I'm like, whoa, okay, it seems like a little foggy up there. So then I was telling the medical assistant, I said, you know what, I think I'm about to get off this, and that's because my sugar was, it was stagnant. It wasn't going up or down. So I got off of that, and then that's when I started trying to take the metformin again, and it didn't work. So the only thing that worked for me, and which is, I'm telling you, when you are used to being tired and foggy all the time and no energy, and then all of a sudden, it's only been 8 days, you got energy and are maintaining uh, the fact that it's dropping and dropping, and it feels good. But I wanted to comment about the Ozempic because to me, the best rate to go is holistic. It's natural. You don't have to worry about no side effects that they're not telling you about just because they're trying to push a drug. So I just want to make that comment.
Yeah, and if we have any other questions, feel free to raise your hand inside the chat. There's another one. Until I get questions with hands raised, there's a few more in the YouTube that I would like to share. Someone said, "Thank you for sharing," and that my kids can take this with the V balance, but I'm currently also pregnant. Is there anything that I can take to make sure that this child is the healthiest one?
Yes, there's a couple products that you can take while you're pregnant. Definitely the omegas are incredible. The V Daily is incredible. And our protein is a even the new one we're about to come out with. I didn't mention that to you guys, but we're actually upgrading our current formula. We're adding even more superfoods to it, and it's, oh my gosh, it's incredible. So those three are great to tap into.
Amazing.
Nourishment, nourishment, nourishment. That's what you want to focus on while you're creating life.
And which leads to the last question is someone said, I'm a vegan. Are there vegan products? Are these vegan products?
All of our products are vegan except for our collagen. Those would not be. And then our omegas would not be. And then our current formulation of our nourishing protein shake is not. But our new one is going to have a vegan and non-vegan option. But
Oh,
other than that, all of our herbs are. So all the capsules you saw in the detox restore line, all of that is vegan. And our awaken line, our coffees and V energy is all good to go.
okay, perfect. So guys, we are going to close this evening out with just two more testimonies that another one of these two that are very quick, but they're very important. Valerie, I see that you're on here. If you can do me a favor, Valerie, and unmute your mic and go ahead and turn on your video.
Hello, can they hear me?
Yes,
Can
I just don't
Okay,
see you yet. If you want to turn, there we go.
how you doing? Good afternoon, everybody. Miss Brooke, I want you my shero girl. I just want to be like you when I grow up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Valerie. It is my pleasure to be here, Miss Charisma. Amazing presentation, amazing launch. I'm going to give basically a two-part testimonial. The first one is for me. I was struggling with a lot of pain. And Vitadol is my go-to. That's my new boo. I got my greasy liver under control by doing the 1, 2, 3 punch, incorporating, everything to detox the body. And I got my greasy liver to go not so greasy. Yay. But what ended up happening was I ended up spiking my blood sugar. I don't know how I did it. I don't know where it came from, but somewhere between June and this month, my blood sugar went off the charts. It was already yellow, but then it turned red. So I incorporated our wonderful products, S Balance and Vasculax, and I increased my omega 3s. And I took my scan matter of fact, a week ago today. I am finally green again. So I snatched myself from being pre-diabetic just in 30 days. That's my story. Here's the other story, because we have some people on this call who are of a certain age. And I want to tell a loving story about one of my customers. Respectfully, one is 67, one is 68. And they tried our Love Cafe. And let me just say this, y'all. The Love Cafe allowed his spoon to stir her cup to the point where the next day I get a call. I didn't understand why the woman was so happy, but all I kept hearing in the background of the call was, "The tide has risen." And I was like, "Oh, okay, great." And then she turns around, she's like, "Girl, what is in this coffee? I can't keep my hands off my husband." Like, "Girl, I gotta go, but I just wanted to let you know the coffee was great." Why do I say this to you all? One simple fact: no matter how old you get, if you can feel pain, you can still feel pleasure. That's my time.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, that was amazing. So her tide has risen. I love that. So do you a favor next up, Keith. Let this brother come up here and give his testimony, please, King. Come and share with us your vital health story.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you for letting me share some amazing testimonies, Brooke. You did an amazing job as always. I love when you present and break the products down. And Charisma, amazing launch too as well. Just a real quick testimony because I don't want to overcook the grits. We've been on here for a while. But the first testimony is about these amazing products. When I got involved in the company, my sponsor knew that I was dealing with chronic foot pain. I've been dealing with that foot pain for 13 years. The reason being, I was at one time 377 pounds. And so I'm not no more, right? Thank God. But it did uh, uh, flatten the arches in my feet, blew out the arches in my feet from carrying that much weight on a 5'10" frame. And so I was taking the Vitadol. You heard Miss Valerie mention that product, amazing product, especially if you're dealing with pain. But I wasn't taking them like to really get the results I needed until Brooke told me a story about David, who had a chest energy where he separated the muscle from the bone. He increased his dosage. And Brooke said, "Hey, you can't overdose, up the dosage." And so I upped my dosage, and I didn't even realize the increased mobility and the reduction in pain. I started going up and down the stairs, and people say, "Hey, you're walking different." And I've tried everything but surgery, insoles, you name it, acupuncture. I've tried it all. And man, Vitadol has truly reduced that pain and increased my mobility, and it's been amazing. As far as that compensation plan that Brooke went over, I mean, I've been in this industry for 26 years, and I've seen a lot of compensation plans. I've helped write some compensation plans, but this compensation plan was definitely written with gratitude in mind for the field, the amount that it pays out, and because of not my skill set, right, and not my talent, but because of this compensation plan, I was able to come in this company on March the 20th in 8 days, hit diamond, and in 28 days, hit double diamond. And I made 4 months on the 20th of this month, and I made over $50,000 in this compensation plan. And man, it's one of the most generous compensation plans in the industry. And no wonder we're approaching $1 million annually really, really fast. So thank you for letting me share. Once again, an amazing job, ladies.
Thank you, thank you. So, guys, we are going to wrap it up today. I don't see any more hands up, but I do, before one, I want to say thank you, Brooke, so very much for taking your time and your energy to pour your love into all of us. But I also want to leave on one last note, because as we're going on our healing journey, I want you guys to understand that as Valerie shared, some other things may come up along that journey, and it doesn't mean that you're heading down the wrong path in your health journey. It means that you had things that needed to align, which were out of alignment. So it's no different than if you fix one thing on your car, something else might show up, and you're just going to have to keep fixing along the journey. Some things may feel like they go out of whack in the very beginning, but keep going. Do not give up. That just means that your body is doing what it needs to do to not just heal one aspect of your body, but it needs to heal everywhere. And along that journey, it might just be a little uncomfortable in the beginning, but just keep going. Things may come up, but just keep going because you'll wake up one day and if your journey doesn't make you feel as good as quickly as it did Andre Sr. on here, trust that it will. These products are working and they work very well. Again, Brooke, thank you so very, very much for coming on here today and pouring your time and energy into all of us. Thank you, Mama Corey, for helping and orchestrate all of this in the background. I couldn't have done it without you. And thank you for everyone that became vulnerable to tell your story because, again, change happens with one, and we couldn't have done it with all of you too. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Have an amazing day.
Let's go out there and be the change we wish to see in the world.
That was wonderful, ladies. Have a good
Wonderful,
night,
wonderful,
everybody.
wonderful. Congratulations, Charisma. Congratulations.
Excellent, excellent presentation. My God, y'all did that thing. Thank you so very much. God bless you all. We really appreciate you.
It was great. Blessings to everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Brooke,
everybody.
you